And we begin tonight with new developments from that fiery crash on I-65 in Tippecanoe County that killed 5 people.
Crews pulled a van from the smoldering wreckage, and in it was a family from Greenwood, a mother and her 2 sons. Jill Buck and her 2 boys, AJ and Branson, ages 8 and 10.
That chain reaction crash occurred just before midnight on I-65 near the State Road 43 exit, which is just north of Lafayette. We have team coverage of the crash and how neighbors in Greenwood are responding to the family's loss. But we begin with Eyewitness News reporter Rich Van Wyk, who has a look at what happened on the highway. Rich?
John, this is the stretch of Interstate 65 southbound where 5 people lost their lives late last night. In addition to a Greenwood mother and her 2 small children, a 47-year-old Russian doctoral student at Purdue University, Mikhail Stepanov, and another man, 34-year-old Pankev or Ruslan Pankev, a truck driver from Indianapolis. Police believe he is responsible for this accident. The tanker semi, loaded and weighing perhaps 40 tons, investigators say crashed into slower traffic, hitting cars out of its way before wrecking into the back end of another truck.
This one semi showed no signs of any type of slowing or reducing speed.
Just before midnight, southbound traffic entering a working construction zone was slowing down from 65 to 55 miles an hour. The semi first collided with a small hatchback carrying a Russian couple, Purdue students, knocking it from the interstate into the grass. He died, she survived with only minor injuries. The semi kept going, ramming an SUV from behind, sending it spinning. From there,
and continued on and ran into the rear end of the second semi, causing the fire, and then basically the Honda Pilot done a spin. When it spun back into the crash scene of the 2 semis, and all 3 vehicles were engulfed in fire.
The Greenwood mother and her 2 children in the SUV perished, along with the truck driver, an Illinois man. It took all night and all morning for investigators to examine the wreckage and clear it away. Thousands of gallons of vegetable oil had to be pumped from the destroyed tanker truck. Accident reconstructionists will examine the cab, looking for any mechanical faults. The fire, however, likely destroyed any black box computer data and the driver's paper logbook. With few witnesses, it may be difficult for investigators to determine the precise cause of the tragedy. Police, however, will be using evidence they gathered from the crash scene. It is also likely they will be looking into the Illinois Trucking Company, business records, maintenance records, and inspection records. They will also likely have results from an autopsy as well as toxicology reports as they look for answers to this tragic crash. In Tippecanoe County, Rich Van Wyk, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
And as you can imagine tonight, word of the Buck family tragedy spread very quickly in their hometown of Greenwood. Eyewitness News reporter Sandra Chapman is there live tonight, speaking with people who knew the victims very well. Sandra?
Well, Andrea, Jill Buck's impact here in Greenwood started at home, where she was the wife to Paul Buck and the mother of 5 children. Now, her 2 youngest boys, Branson and Aiden, perished with her in that fiery crash overnight. Buck is also known here at the community church in Greenwood, Center Grove Schools, and South Grove Eye Care, where her colleagues say she was admired and loved. 47-year-old Jill Buck is being remembered as a dear friend and beloved doctor in Greenwood. Just before midnight, a semi crashed into the back of her SUV, sitting in traffic on I-65 near Lafayette. The impact sent her vehicle spiraling into the median before it careened into a fiery collision involving the tanker that hit her and another truck. Buck and her 2 young boys died. The Buck family says they're devastated. In a statement, they go on to say, "We remain faithful in God at this very, very difficult time and are thankful to the many family, friends, and community members who continue to show their support. We ask for privacy as we grieve together." At Center Grove High School, where Buck's son PJ attends, members of the football team received an email saying, "The Bucks are a tremendously valued family in this community. Pray and provide any support to them. This will be a very difficult time for Paul, Grace, Olivia, and PJ." And at the South Grove Eye Center, where Buck worked for 3 years, her colleagues tell us it's been a very emotional day there as well. In a statement, they tell us, "Our hearts ache for her family and friends. Words cannot express the pain and loss all those who knew her well feel. Now tonight, Center Grove schools are also remembering the Buck family. One of the little boys who died in the crash last night attended the elementary school. And we're also learning that Jill Buck actually worked in Indianapolis part-time, where she worked for HealthNet, providing eye care as well for that system and serving the underprivileged and the underinsured. Again, lots of reaction here, but many people just too broken today to be able to talk about it, but they definitely say she will be missed. Reporting live from Greenwood, Sandra Chapman, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.